And we are back. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and I'm here with Shannon Vieira. She is the president and CEO of Greater Statesville Chamber of Commerce. And we are here with a gentleman. I read his book cover to cover. It is titled Marketing Simplified, Danny Decker. Danny, thank you so much for being here, buddy.
Guys, it's great to be here. I feel like this is a dream come true for me. I've kind of peaked right now in my career. I'm on with Joe and Shannon. It does not get any better than this. So.
Shannon,
Nice.
if you didn't realize it, he just made fun of me. Just so you know that.
I know.
Okay?
I was looking for the bell, but I couldn't get my hand on it. Danny's got it. There
I
it
was
is.
told that's my job on the show.
That's right.
So.
You're exactly right. Hey, buddy, we don't have enough time for me to cover this book. Thank you so much for coming in. But before we get started, describe what it is you actually do in your specialty so that I don't destroy it when I try and do that.
Yeah, sure. So short version is I am a marketing coach for local businesses. I help business owners to create strategic written marketing plans, and then I coach them as they execute those plans. And the issue and the reason I'm passionate about what I do is because I really believe in entrepreneurship, and I know everybody in this room does, but I believe that entrepreneurs are one of the greatest forces for good in our community. And further, I believe that many entrepreneurs are not growing anywhere close to their full potential, and often it's because they haven't figured out marketing. Marketing is such a mystery to so many business owners, and it's holding back their growth. And so that's why I wrote Marketing Simplified, and that's why I do what I do.
Well, Danny, I'll tell you, you and I met at the Lake Norman Expo, and I think you could tell as soon as I saw your book, I grabbed it, right, and started to talk to you because this is the one challenge that small business people have that they don't want to tackle. They don't really want to have to sell and do marketing. They find it this evil necessity. And when I realized you knew what you were talking about is when I started reading your book and you acknowledged you have a job because they really don't want to do that.
And the sad thing is it is an industry that has a bad name, and I don't blame entrepreneurs for being hesitant to get involved with marketing. There are a lot of vendors out there that maybe not necessarily have bad intentions, but are not delivering results and give the industry a bad name, and no entrepreneur wants to be known as like a sleazy marketer or anything like that. Well, my take on marketing is completely different. I actually think that when you are marketing, you are doing the world a great service, and the reason why is because you own a business like Dr. Chris, who was on here last, who is helping people in this area become so much healthier. He is doing an incredible service for them, and therefore marketing is just about getting the word out. Marketing is helping people understand that how you're gonna solve their problem. Like ultimately, marketing is problem solving for people. So I think it's something we should be very proud of.
Well, first of all, I want you to get this book. We're going to make sure there's a way for you to get this book if you're listening. It is a great book because it's this step-by-step. He's got a lot of bullet points in it, Shannon, and I like bullet points.
I do because it's easy to read.
Marketing Simplified by Danny Decker. It is a great book. Danny, how can they reach you if they want a copy of your book?
Yeah, so it's on Amazon.com. It's on BarnesandNoble.com. So hop on there, search for Marketing Simplified. You can also check out my website, which is DannyDeckerMarketing.com. I'm active on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. You can just search for Danny Decker or search for Marketing Simplified, and I'll pop up.
So we're not going to get through your book, right? But let's try and start with what I immediately question people that think they can do marketing, right? Because everybody thinks they can do marketing, and you really touch on it in your book, and that is measure it. Does it really work, right? And one of your statements in the book is that about 50% of the marketing works. The question is, what 50% is it? And so it was through those statements that I realized Danny really gets it. Danny really understands exactly the challenge here. So I can't help but ask, how does he know that? And it starts on the first page of your book, which is I started a business in my spare bedroom in a tiny apartment in Miami. Well, hello, that's probably 70% of us small business people.
Right.
So talk about how you started your business.
Yeah, so it's funny. I did not see myself as an entrepreneur, nor did I see myself as a marketer. I actually went to college and studied finance, and I had every intention of working on Wall Street someday. And what happened was I graduated in 2009, which, as you can probably remember, is the literal worst time in the last 100 years to try to get a job in finance. The economy was tanking, and so I said, okay, what's plan B? And I was fortunate to get a job in the marketing world, which isn't something I saw coming, but is something I have since learned that I'm gifted. You know, I like to talk, I like to communicate. Really, what marketing is communication. And so I got a job working in a small marketing agency, and I realized, wow, this entrepreneurship thing is pretty cool. Like I'm kind of getting my head around how it all works. I see the value and the importance in marketing. And so after doing that job for about a year, I went out and started my own agency, as you referenced there, Joe. And I started with a partner who's still a great friend of mine. We started it down in Miami, Florida. And like I said, it was literally in the spare bedroom in my apartment. And we had no clients. We had no idea what we were doing. And it was a learning process. And it took us about 2 years of banging our heads into the wall before we finally were smart enough to seek some outside coaching and advice. And we're given the recommendation, hey, you guys really need a specialty. You need a niche. And so we ended up specializing in small law firms and doing what we do, our internet marketing services exclusively for small law firms. And at that point, our growth went just through the roof. And we went from doing about $150,000 a year to 2 years later, we broke $1 million and, a staff of 10 full-time employees. And so it's amazing how things can change when you get the right direction.
Right. Well, and let's talk about that, because you say in your book 3 things that you did that you believe leads to your success. And I love them. 1, you guys hustled. Amen. It's the name of the game. Get up in the morning, and I got a doctor just ran 6 miles and showed up here on time.
Hustle.
That's right.
That's right.
Learn from some really smart people. That really is the key to that. And then you build a marketing system that attracts new clients consistently.
Yeah.
And that consistency part is something that really sort of captured my mind's eye.
Yeah, well, and that's the challenge for a lot of business owners, right? Is we've got a business to run. So you don't have all day to spend on your marketing. And so what happens is you have a slow period and you're kind of freaking out. And so you do some marketing activity, whether that's getting on social media or going networking or whatever. But then it starts to work and you start to bring some business in. And so you get too busy and all of a sudden your marketing's not happening. And then a couple of months later, you're back in the same spot because now you don't have any business because you haven't been marketing. And so you're panicking and freaking out. And so what I try to teach my clients is you do need to have a system in place. It needs to be happening. It probably shouldn't be dependent on you, Mr. Entrepreneur. You probably shouldn't be the only person powering your marketing. You need to have a team, or you need to be using automation. You need to have systems in place so that your marketing happens, whether you're seeing clients, whether you're on vacation, whether you're sleeping, because that's how you create the consistency.
Right. So now I get to, I think it's the second chapter where it talks about your obligation to market. And you say something that's great. You say most small business owners, they just skirmish at the thought of having to do marketing or hire unethical marketing people. And then you say, but let's start from this position. Do you really believe that your product or service is legitimately valuable? What you're selling is marketing the world, is making the world a better place, even in a very small way. And you really do define the fact that, listen, if you don't believe in your product or service is making the world better, then you shouldn't want to market it.
Yeah.
But if you do, it really should not be a negative to you. Talk about that, because it really does hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the point that I touched on super briefly at the beginning here, which is, yes, let's assume that you are operating a business, you're selling products or services that make people's life better in some way. If you're a scam artist, like, no, I don't want you to be out there marketing. But if you are making people's life better in some way, well, then you have an obligation to help as many people as you can. Right? I don't want to serve just 3 people. I want to serve 300 people because I believe that what I'm teaching them is going to make their businesses better. And everybody who's listening to the show, everybody who's on the show, what you're doing is incredible. And it's beyond just serving your customers, by the way. You are stimulating the economy. You are creating jobs. 90% of job growth over the last decade has come from small businesses.
Absolutely true.
We're creating tax revenue to pay for roads, and all of this stuff is incredible. And so you have an obligation.
We need like God Bless America song behind
right?
that, you know what I mean?
Flag.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true. You are making a huge impact. And so you have, as I say in the book, an obligation to do that as much as you can. And so that's what marketing is about. It's how can I help more people?
Right. Let's do this, Danny. I want to. We're going to go to break, and we come back. I want to talk about. You've got a chapter that talks about how marketing feeds your sales team, and this is an important factor that a lot of small business people miss. They think the sales force should be doing their marketing as well, and I want to talk about the distinction that you clearly make in the book.
Sounds great.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and Marketing Simplified starts with Danny Decker's book. If it's Friday morning, your business matters. We'll be right back. And we are back. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. My co-host for the entire month is the delectable, delightful, the darling, the dynamic, something else with a D, Shannon Vieira, President and CEO of Greater Statesville Chamber of Commerce. And I am delighted to be talking to Danny Decker. He is the author of Marketing Simplified. And Danny, let's just jump right in. We don't have a lot of time. Talk about the sales team and how marketing feeds that sales team.
Yeah, so a great question, Joe. And I break it down this way. Marketing and sales are two distinct parts of your business. The job of your marketing, ultimately, is to generate qualified leads. That's what marketing is about. It's about getting the right people to contact your business at the right time. The right people, the right time, with basically the right expectations.
And
sales,
what I find in small business, what happens, the small business owner, either they don't know or they're trying to save time, energy, or money. Try and have the sales force do both of those.
That's
things.
exactly right. And so,
whoa! He just said exactly.
Bell.
You didn't know that, Danny, but I got you on that one.
I'm on tape now. So no, but you're right. And so
Merry Christmas, Joe.
Yeah, that's right.
So marketing is supposed to create the leads, right? Marketing draws people in magnetically. And then the job of your sales team, which it can be your sales team or it can be you as the entrepreneur, whoever it is that's doing sales, your job is then just to convert those people into clients. So to have a conversation with them, to make sure they're on the same page in terms of expectations, to go. So really, marketing, when done right, makes sales job infinitely easier.
Yes.
And it hurts me when I see...
And more productive,
Yes.
and more efficient.
And it literally hurts me when I see businesses that send their sales force out in position to fail, right? Where they do not set them up for success because they're asking them to cold call or they're asking them to try to convert prospects who don't have the right expectations or don't have the same. So it should work in harmony. The job of marketing is to deliver leads and prospects to sales on a silver platter.
So I'm going to make a statement. You tell me whether you agree with me or not. And Shannon, go get ready to kick him out the door if he disagrees. Okay. So no, the day of just cold calling meaning you do not know who you're getting ready to talk to. It's gone. Because you can find out anybody's position and name before you send them an email or knock on the door. You should at least this day and age know who it is you want to talk to. Would you agree with that?
100%. Now there are mega corporations out there. You were exactly right, Joe.
Exactly. Go right in.
There are mega corporations out there that spend billions of dollars and make telemarketing work, but that's not a smart solution for small businesses. And in fact, I like to flip the script. Instead of cold calling and outbound marketing, I really believe that most small local businesses should be doing what's called inbound marketing, where they create content, they create a message that is attractive and pulls people in. It's much easier to market when people are attracted to your business than it is to go out and pound the pavement and cold call and knock on people's door. Like, that's just the wrong way to go about it. And with today's the internet and digital technology and social media, it's very possible to create a marketing platform where you're attracting people instead of having to go out harassing them, hoping that 1% of them becomes a client.
Right. So you've got a chapter here that says the four main parts of an effective, and that's the key word, effective marketing system. You want to talk about those?
Yeah. So that's kind of my central premise of the whole book. I think one of the reasons that entrepreneurs get marketing wrong is because they put everything in one giant bucket. Everything they do, they just think of it as marketing. Joe, what's your favorite sport to watch? Football?
I'm a football guy.
Okay.
College football.
So all right, college football. So you've got a football team and you're trying to win the game, right? But you have players filling different roles. You got the offensive line, who their job is to move people and block people, and you got the quarterback who has to make decisions, and you got wide receivers who have to be great at running routes and catching passes. Everyone has a different role on a winning team. That's how it is with your marketing. You have to understand that your marketing is split, in my book, into 4 categories. You have branding, which is communicating to the world who you are and what you're about. That's branding.
And, I find a lot of small businesses miss this point because they really do not know what their clients and customers actually think about them.
Exactly. So you have branding, you have referral generation, which is, listen, referrals are the best way for most businesses to grow. You need to be proactive about that. You have the third bucket, which is client retention. Did you know that it's 11 to 25 times more expensive to go find a new customer
Yes.
than it is to sell to the same people over and over again. And then finally, the fourth bucket is lead generation. That's where most people want to start with, hey, I need my phone to ring. Well, listen, if you don't have your brand figured out, if you don't have your referral strategy figured out, if you don't have your client retention strategy figured out, you shouldn't be spending money on lead generation because it's not going to work nearly as well as it could. So my whole thing is I want business owners to understand you got to split your marketing up into multiple different buckets. That's how you know what's working. I'm not going on this show because I expect my phone to ring. It's a branding strategy for me. It gets me out. I'm talking to people. They get to know me. It makes me look like I know what I'm talking about.
I thought you were on a show because you like me.
Well, that too. But I can't say that.
So, Danny, we don't have a lot of time, but one of the things I really liked about the book is you talk about the 5 concepts to build a marketing message. Let's go through those real fast, okay? The first one, it's not about you. It's about the customer.
If we only talked about that this entire show, it would be a great topic of conversation. Most marketers, most businesses, they want to talk about how great they are, right? This is how good I am. This is how good my products are. We win all the awards. Well, newsflash, your customers don't care about that. Right? They want to know, how are you going to make my life better?
And
so
let me keep going because I want to make sure we got enough time. Number 2, focus on the benefits that your business creates for them.
Exactly. How are you going to make their life better? That's the question you need to answer with your marketing.
And speak the right language. That's kind of an interesting one there. How do I know I'm speaking the right language?
Well, a couple different ways. The first is just to know your audience real well, right? So I work with a lot of attorneys and help them figure out their message. And they're a great example of this because attorneys are really smart, really well educated. But the problem is they speak legalese. And so when they're talking, like whether it's on their website or video or face-to-face, they use all these legal terms that their average client doesn't really understand. And that's a problem. So I help them figure out, how can we take your knowledge and put it into language that makes sense to people that are going to hire you. And if you're getting a blank stare, that's a good sign that people don't understand.
Okay, number 4, paint a clear picture of success and failure. That's interesting. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so again, it's not about my products and my services. It's how are we going to make your life better as an entrepreneur, as a customer, whether whatever you're selling. So that's what your marketing should do, is paint people a picture of what success looks like. How is your life going to improve when you engage me or whoever, right?
So you would say, Joe, I'm going to get you 5 leads a month because we're going to do ABC. So you're defining that.
But even better, I'd say, Joe, you're going to be able to sleep really well at night because you have confidence that you have a marketing system that's actually working. So it's actually not about the 5 leads. It's, hey, I'm going to help you make more money. I'm going to help you sleep better at night. I'm going to help you feel more confident that you actually have a marketing plan in place.
So I don't have to go to John's office every Tuesday?
Well, you probably still should, but hopefully you're still sleeping better at night too.
And number 5, the more specific and targeted you can be, the better. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, niches get riches, right? And so
niches get riches.
Yep. And
Hashtag niches get rich. You got to really be careful how to say that, but I love that.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Yep. The more you can focus your messaging on the specific people that you are trying to help, the more receptive they're going to be.
So, Danny, we don't have much time, buddy. Please, I urge people to go to Danny's website, Marketing Simplified by Danny Decker. It is just a great marketing book for small business people. We've got 1 minute. I'm going to give it to you, my friend. What advice would you give a small business person listening, or somebody that's giving advice to small business people that are getting ready to start a business and they want to put together a marketing plan?
Yeah, no, awesome. Let's start here. Let's talk about this. I want you to connect with what you're passionate about. We've had this conversation off the air. Marketing is fun. Business is fun when you're doing something that you're passionate about. Your last guest is a great example of that. When we are doing something, whether it's marketing, whether it's the business itself, that we are passionate about, the rest kind of takes care of itself.
Thank you, Danny. I really do appreciate it. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and it is WSIC. I'm here with my co-host, Shannon Vieira, President and CEO of Greater Statesville Chamber of Commerce. If it's Friday morning, your business matters. We'll see you next week.